Ladies and gentlemen, in this video we will be flying the Realair Turbine Duke V2 with the GTN750 from Flight1 into hard IFR conditions. The visibility is currently 1 nautical mile, which is the strict minimum to operate this aircraft in IFR conditions, and we will be conducting that flight as per procedure. So if you like that kind of stuff, that kind of adventure, just sit right in and just see how this monster of an aircraft, which was originally a piston aircraft and even then was like the fastest operating piston twin, which has now been retrofitted with 2 turbine engines, is a real monster and the perfect complement to the GPS to conduct that kind of IFR flight in as a single pilot. Now let me just go up front and put my headset on, and we will get this flight started right away. Okay, so we're going to use the GTN750 also, and the approach will be very interesting. It's a GPS approach. I've seen questions on that before in the forums. People ask, can this GTN750 from Flight1 fly and autopilot some GPS approaches? And the answer is yes, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm a real-life pilot, but I am just VFR rated. But I will try to conduct this close to procedure as possible. I've done my IFR ground course a long time ago, but I keep reading on it and all that, so it should be a pretty interesting flight. Anyone who wants to learn how to do procedures a bit closely, and also anyone who wants to learn how to use the GTN750. I'm quite proficient with a lot with this. I've flown this airplane also quite a bit, so hopefully I won't do too many stupid mistakes. Right, so let's get this started. So I have the checklist that comes with the aircraft with me. Cabin door secured, weight and CG is checked, flight controls, check movement and proper response. That's fine. And if we look here, we can see the ailerons are moving, everything is great here. Parking brake is set, and all circuit breakers are in over here. Cabin temperature mode is off. Alternate static source is normal. This little switch over here. Landing gear handle is down. Condition lever is cut off. Propeller high. RPM power lever is idle. Is all off. Let's just check this here, make sure. Yeah, I knew it. This one is okay. These are okay. Battery switch on. Beacon on to tell everyone the aircraft is powered. Annunciator test, just to make sure all the little lights are okay. Bulb is burned, so that's very important. Fuel selector left and right on, okay. Engine fuel pressure annunciators are on, that's fine. Now we'll turn on the first pump and make sure this engine fuel pressure annunciator turns off, and we'll check that the fuel flow here comes up, and we'll also check that the voltmeter is fine. So let's do that. So here, let's turn on pump 1. The light shuts down. Everything is good. The voltmeter is good, and the pressure is there. So that's for pump 1, and now we're about to start the ride engine. Ride ignition on. Check illuminated on this little thingy here, and we're about to do the startup. This when we do that, it starts going pretty fast. So you turn it on, you have to check, and when the NG here reads 12, you then send the fuel to the engine. And as you do so, you have to really carefully check that, you know, the temperature. Oops, what happened here? That the temperature doesn't rise too high, and that the oil pressure here also rises as well as the temperature. Otherwise, okay, so it's startup. Change this. Now we keep a very close eye on this. And if I go to the co-pilot seat and get a better readout, it's fine. Everything went well. It's great. Waiting until this goes back down a little bit. Okay. Ignition to automatic. Start the generator and then we'll check the right generator load here. Remains below 50%, which it is. 50% is the halfway mark here. Then we turn it right back off to check it again, but with the other generator when we start the left engine, which we will do right now. Left ignition. Yes. Left ignition annunciator is there. Starter on. %. Let's give it some fuel. And again, oh my god, at the wrong time, my joystick disconnected. And that happens, the throttle gets floored, so I'll just turn it off. I caught it right in time. That sort of thing doesn't happen in real life. Okay, generator on. The load is fine. Then turn the other one on. The load is split between the two. Turn on the main inverter to get current, and we turn on the avionics master. Turn on the nav lights. I won't need this, I'll turn it on.
System test okay. TOS. System test okay.
Okay, let's look at the flight plan right now. Let me show this to you. So we're here at Dalles. We'll follow the standard instrument departure, which I'll show you in a minute, which includes flying to this Klickitat VOR, and then we'll go straight to the Kuga waypoint, which is the initial approach fix for the approach into Scappoose Industrial, which actually will take us, more to the left here and then straight. So first, standard departure will be taking off runway 13, and then we climb until we intercept this radial here, 165. And when we're at a minimum of 4,000, we can turn around and then fly direct to Klickitat. So it's described here. So for takeoff runway 21, climb left, turn heading 120 to intercept the Klickitat VOR on radial 165, then climb on the southbound to 4,000, then climbing left turn direct to the VOR. Okay, and then we'll go on en route. I won't do any radio stuff on this flight. And then for the approach into Scappoose, I have these charts printed. I'll refer to them as I fly, of course. You might want to print them because I won't show them again while I'm flying. Then we'll go straight to the Kuga waypoint, then start our descent. We'll fly at 9,000 feet for this flight onto the initial approach fix. The Kuga is the transition waypoint. I think I called it the and then we'll just follow it. And what we'll do is we'll activate. This is a this is a GPS approach, so we're not using the localizer here, we're going to use the GPS guidance. So the decision altitude, it's an altitude, it's on the barometric altimeter, we have to read this, is 350 feet and visibility of 1 mile, which is what we have right now. Let's hope it doesn't get more foggy than it already is. That's for the LPV approach. DA means decision altitude, right? Okay, so that's it. As I said, I do have these files with me. These charts printed here right in front of me, and of course, as I fly, I refer to them all the time. So now what we're going to do is program the GPS for this flight. Okay, so here we are. Going to flight plan. This is where we are. We are going to Scappoose. That's it. There it is. Fast find is very helpful. Then we'll enter the procedures. Departure. Going to be this one. It's the only one that's available, and runway 13. The departure, and for the arrival procedure, we're not doing arrival because we're kind of too close to the airport already. It will be the RNAV 15 GPS LPV approach with a transition through Kuga, and we can load that right away. So here's the flight plan. Now what I always do, I just remove this here now, because we have the approach before, and if we don't remove it, we'll fly to the airport and then try to fly the approach. But I always add it at the very end. And the reason being that it's very helpful to have it there. Why? Because if, for example, we want to check frequencies or stuff like that while we're en route for the airport, it helps if it's in the flight plan. So just checking, make sure this looks kind of reasonable. Yep, that's the kind of look I was expecting. Okay, turn this on later. As I said, I won't, do all the radio stuff like that. We'll just leave that out for now. Okay, so let's program those dials here a little bit. So we want to fly runway 13 is climb heading 130. Actually, I read you the takeoff runway 31, I just realized, because it says to do a climbing left turn heading 120, but that's when we're going out the other way, and I was wrong. Now what we're going to do is just fly 13, heading of 13, this, and we want to climb, so the minimum is 4,000, but we'll head 9,000. I just have to remember here that I'm not allowed to turn until I'm at 4,000. This is going to happen very fast in this aircraft. We'll want to climb very fast, so let's set this up like 1,500 feet per minute. Turn on the flight. Oops, sorry. Let's do that again. The flight director was already on. Turn on. And the VOR frequency is 112.3, which was already put in there for us. It's important that this reads VLOC because we're flying the radios to the VOR, not the GPS. So we have to use VLOC because if it's saying, so we can change it here. If it says GPS, we're flying GPS, but that's not what we want to do. Now I want to set we're heading here to 165 according to the procedure, so that we know when we intercept it. Go. So are we all set for departure? Autopilot set. This radios are set. Set. Heading bug is set. Okay, good. Let's just see here. Flight plan. Oh, that's interesting. So the departure airport is not on the flight plan anymore. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so let's tune into the ATIS to find out the altimeter and wind information. Okay, so visibility is 1 mile, which is the minimum we can have for this instrument departure, so we're all set. And I think we should get out of here as fast as we can before that changes, right? So let's see, let's follow up. After start, main inverters on, that's done. Radios and transponders on, that's okay. GPS as required, fine. Cabin temperature mode, we will set this to, it's a bit chilly, so we'll put this to automatic heat. Annunciators test. Sure, they're all clear. What do we have here? Depth ignition and right fuel pump. Somehow I skipped a few things here. So this is quite important. It should be on automatic. And the fuel pump here should be on. Generator should be on. Okay, that's why we have checklists. Okay, as we go, we're going to check the brakes, we're going to check the gyros, we're going to check the turn indicator, just to make sure all that works fine. Right now, heading shown here is the one shown here, so that part is okay. And before takeoff, we're going to do the run-up. We're not going to do this here. Okay. So let's just look at the chart here a little closer. Oh, I don't have the airport chart. That's interesting. Oh, I don't have taxiway information. That's weird. Okay, I did not print this, but I know there's a taxiway going like this, and then this way. We'll double check here just to be sure, okay? Because let's see. So that's why we don't have a chart. Okay, let's look at the. Let's see. So we'll want to, yeah, that's it. We'll want to go this way, then turn left, then we'll take this taxiway, which goes to the end of this runway, which must be something like 09 or 08, and then cross all the way up to taxiway for runway 13. Okay. Turn on the taxi lights. Okay, so the way we taxi this aircraft is, and any turbine aircraft, no matter what everyone tells you, is we're not using the power levers, we're using the conditioners here. These kind of increase the power a little bit, and once you get rolling, you get them back down. Okay, this is the runway, so let's head this way. So we'll just move a little bit over there to the side, then we'll do the run-up. Pointing our nose into the wind for the run-up. Okay, so here we are, all set for the run-up test. Let's do that. Parking brake is set. Left pump switch is off. Make sure the fuel pressure indicator remains off. Same thing for right. Excellent. Cross-feed test. We set this to cross-feed for 10 to 15 seconds. Make sure everything keeps running alright. Okay, instrument and avionics. Everything is set properly here. Pressurization check, set cruise altitude plus 500. So as I said, we're going to cruise at 19,000 feet. That means we'll keep a cabin pressure of around 6,000 feet. Autopilot check then off. Yeah, I won't do the autopilot checks, it's pretty long and involved here, so let's skip on these. Quick trim check, trim set to takeoff range. So that's 10. It is flaps. Check. You can normally make sure that they both get up and down at the same rate, but I can't check that from here. Flight control, full, free, and correct. This is where I test the joystick. Okay. For that, run up, power 1900 RPM. So we slowly increase the power until we see 1900 RPM. Turbines are tricky, right? Because there's a long delay. Long delay between the time you set the throttle at a given position and that chop. A little bit more. ITT, torque, everything's fine. Color governors exercise. That's very stressful. Gyro pressure is fine here. Let's see the also on the pilot and co-pilot side. This is fine. This is required to make sure all the gyro instruments work. Engine ice protection. You can see it's working because the torque and the RPM changes a little bit. Power back to idle. Feather, check feathering. Okay. Okay, let's check all the instruments. Engine instruments, make sure everything is oil pressure, temperature here, everything is fine. Annunciators are off. Let's set the transponder to on. Turn on altitude reporting. We'll keep this at VFR because I don't really have a real flight plan here. Prop synchronizers is off. And okay, we're ready to taxi, and then we'll finish this checklist because it's not quite finished yet. Now, I always do the checklist. Every time it's just simulation, let's just forego the checklist. Always something that I forget. And that's a good reminder to that you have to be super careful in real life. Checking the windsock here. Oh, and I forgot to check the turn rate indicators and gyros. Here we are, turning right and left, making sure that they follow as they should. Okay. So that's strobes on. As we're ready to take off, ice protection is required. No, we'll be out of the clouds really fast and it's hot enough. And here we go. Okay. so let's brief this takeoff one last time. So we're gonna fly runway heading and climb like heck until we intercept the localizer, which is set to radial 165. Do we follow that? And as soon as we're 4,000, we can do a left turn and then fly direct to kickback, and we'll continue our climb as we do so. It's a pretty steep climb, so I'll turn on the oil doors to keep the engine a little bit cooler. Here we go, set the brakes, power, just wait until the turbines and the RPM catch up. You're up. Now we have to closely monitor these values here as we do the initial climb. They're gonna see we're pretty fast out of the clouds. Let's monitor the autopilot, because it's always trying to kill us. Fine, 2,500 is what we're looking for. Terrain is falling away, so we're safe. Now we're gonna wait to see until this localizer comes alive. Can come back a little bit on power here. Here we are. So we are on VLOC and switch to okay, we've already hit 4,000. So we can now do the left turn. Off. Set RPMs to 2,000. Okay, so let's turn the heading bug until we have the direct heading, and we'll simply follow that. Stop climbing soon. can unsuspend this, and we'll keep a close eye on the map to make sure we're going where we're supposed to go. And we're turning on nav so that as we intercept, we switch to nav. Here we are. Okay, after takeoff, landing gears up, flaps are up, climb power set, check limits, props are set, prop synchronizer now go on. And the rest is monitoring the engines. And let's make sure cabin pressure is going alright. Here we are, everything is fine here, cabin fine is set, everything is good. Now as we're leveling off, I can see we're about to exceed 200 knots, so I'll pull back on this. Those 200 knots is the max. See, the autopilot is having a little bit of troubles here. You know what? I think I'll just it's chasing the needle. So I think it's time to just change this to GPS mode. And it will track nice and smooth, because we're too close to the VOR, and I should have changed this before actually. Just watching this like a hawk to make sure it will sequence properly. Turn. Here we are, sequenced to the Puga waypoint, which is exactly what it's going to track this. We'll be there in 20 minutes. So what I'll do now is make sure everything is set up for the arrival. So first we'll make sure, no, that's not what we want. I want to tune in to the information for the arrival airport. So as soon as we can receive it, we can check the altimeter and stuff like that. I will also switch the VOR to ILS, just in case. You know, I like to always have a backup plan ready. So localizer 14 is 111.10. Switch this, just in case. Check the approach here. Puga, and then this guy, and then straight into Scappoose. Fine? Okay. Then we might as well set Unicom, just out of habit here, so it's ready. We want to switch over. So monitoring the engines all the time. This is all in the green. This is all in the green. Fine, nice little cruise. Just below, everything is good. And turn that off. I thought I'd done that. Cabin is still great. Everything is looking good. So what I'll do now, I'll just jump straight ahead part, because all we're doing now is flying straight and level, okay? Okay, so we're just about 2 minutes out from our Kuga waypoint. We just got the ATIS, or at least the automated weather observation system, which says visibility is 1 mile, which is exactly what we need. So this should be a pretty fun approach. So let's look at this a little bit. We'll start our descent. I'll just start slowing everything down a little bit because we're doing this single pilot, you know, we're in no hurry, there's no rush, we're gonna take our time. And so this will automatically sequence here, so it should not be too much trouble. All I'll have to manage here is the altitudes. So as soon as we turn here, we'll start going down to 4,800, and then 3,200, and then as we go in here, we want to go down to 2,000. And then we should intercept the virtual glide slope. And we'll, of course, we'll keep a keen eye on that. As I said, it's a GPS approach, so we'll keep the CDI here to GPS all along. And of course, as we get in, we have to set our decision altitude. Airfield elevation is 58. Let's round that up to 60. So that means we should read 350 minus 60 on the radar altimeter. So I'll set that as a reminder here. What would I say? That's 290. It's just as a reminder. Of course, what I'll be really checking is to make sure we have 350 on the altimeter. And what we can do here is switch to the charts. Okay, we're about to, starting our turn. So we can start our descent. 4,800. I will use some ice protection because we will be getting around in the clouds. Oh, I should close these. Completely forgot. slow stuff a little bit more. So descent checklist, pressurization set to target altitude plus 500. Like this. Altimeter set, we did that when we got the ATIS information. Shield anti-ice is turned on. Power monitor, keep within limits. Keep a close eye on that. Checklist complete. You're 24 seconds. A bit high, so let's pull that some more. And you know what? I'll turn the prop RPM up so it's gonna act as a big brake. Slow down the airplane. Let's go to 3,200. The last thing we want is to be too high. See, about 1 minute 45 to lose 2,000. Yeah, we'll be fine. But we'll have to turn up the throttle as we level up. What a wonderful view as we go down into the muck. Terrain is all okay here. Also keep a close eye on that because of course we're into somewhat dangerous terrain. Okay, so here's the level up. Give it some power. Almost ready to start sending to 2,000, so actually let's do that now. Vertical speed 1500. Oh, there's a neat trick. If you click here, it's gonna tell you you should be there in 2 minutes. That's awesome. So we know we want to be at 2,000 in 2 minutes. Yeah, so we can really slow this down here. We'll hurry. This is it, folks. Enjoy the sunshine. Here we can see with the terrain we're all set, following the plan, which is a good idea because very mountainous terrain. As we get to WeSav, we'll start checking for the localizer. Settling down at 2,000 feet, we'll slow down a bit more and then we'll add some more power back. Here we are, 2,000, the aircraft is slowing down. That's fine. Be at WeSav in 1 minute and 22 seconds at this one. Okay, I don't want to slow down too much. I don't want to go below the blue line because that's the speed you need to at least need to be above this thing here if you want to keep rudder authority if one of the engines fail. So this seems like pretty reasonable here. It's stable. Okay, glide slope is alive. Switch and switch to glide slope. This is it. Modern technology. This aircraft is doing all the flying by itself. Just always never forget. Autopilot is trying to kill you. So be very, very careful. Always, even if it's doing all the flying, always check everything like a hawk. This is alright. Check this. We are 3.4 nautical miles. Throw the gear down. Increase power. Starting to see the ground. Radar altimeter is alive. Give it a bit more. Turn on the flaps. Turn on the landing lights. Now that looks uncomfortably close, but we are on the glide slope, we are going down, so everything is as planned. So before landing, checklist, low pressure, yes. Prop sync is off. Flaps approach, landing gear down, lights as required. Landing, initial approach speed 120, short final, flaps full down, I've already done that. Props high RPM, that's already done. Short final is 100. That's indicated. So check again, decision altitude is 350. So we have to see the airport before 350. Oh, actually, I have full flaps.
500.
My God, is this gonna be a go around? Nope. Airport in sight. Knots. I am not doing a good job. Center line. And here we are. Welcome to Scappoose Industrial Airport. We've just done the full GPS approach. That's pretty cool. Not doing radio, so let's go right along. This kind of stuff is very difficult to do on the sim. So much easier to not run into the grass. We're doing this with the real airplane. So, after landing checklist. Landing in taxi lights is required. Eye protection off. I know that ITT is at 566. Flaps up, turn the burner off, strobes off. So here we are, the chauffeur is waiting for me. I have no problems having a chauffeur for the car, but there's no way in hell anyone else with me will fly the airplane because it's just so much fun. Parking brake set. Let's look at a replay and then we'll do the shutdown. That was a pretty decent landing. The only problem was the runway centerline tracking, which was horrible. Okay, shutdown. Parking brake is set. GPS is off. There's no off switch on the GPS. Inverter switch is off. Avionics master is off. Cabin temperature mode is off. Check the battery is charged. It's fully charged. ITT has been below 650 for 1 minute. Ignition goes to off. And conditions lever cut off. That's like always a sad part. When NG is below 10, we can turn off fuel pumps. Check the DC voltage load, it's fine. Turn the battery off. And here we are. I hope you certainly did. Let's just get out of here. Let's move to the seat in the back. Open the door. And let's get out and give one last look to this amazing aircraft from Realair. I just love flying it. It's fast. And with the Flight1 GPS, as you can see, you can really keep up, you know, with all the flight planning and routes and all the procedures and all that. It's really easy to do that. So I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye-bye.